Sorry, I'm late again. That was a quick improv. Um, been playing around with that a bit this week. My wife's been going around singing this. We're studying the New Testament this year in our church, and I'm like, oh man! And so this song's called "Tell Me the Stories of Jesus." I love to hear things I would ask him to tell him if he were here. Stories. Oh, uh, I can't remember the exact words to everything. Um, Beautiful little hymn though. I just primary song. I just kind of improvised it, but I thought I'd share a quick little piece of a story uh, of Jesus from the Book of Mormon. So the Book of Mormon contains the record of the Savior's visit to the people in the Americas. Specifically, these people were descended from the house of Israel. They had left before Babylon conquered, and so we know Jesus ascended to heaven after his resurrection. He said he would visit his other sheep that were not of that fold. In other words, his scattered sheep specifically, and so that was him that specifically visited them. And so let's hear how that happened here. And now it came to pass that there was a great multitude gathered together of the people of Nephi round about the temple, which was in the land bountiful, and they were marveling and wondering one with another, and were showing one to another the great and marvelous change which had taken place. And they were conversing about this Jesus Christ, of whom the sign had been given concerning his death. Sorry, we're going to hear Christmas music for a second here. Still haven't changed up for Christmas music. My wife says it should be Christmas all year round, and that's not a bad idea, honestly. La, 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 la. I've had this happen on a few recordings, and I usually get irritated and stop it, but I had such a busy week that it's gonna have to just be left in there. So I apologize about that. We've got this automatic clock that goes off and tells us. It's usually nice because we know when the hour hits. But all right. All right. And it came to pass that while they were thus conversing one with another, they heard a voice as if it came out of heaven, and they cast their eyes round about, for they understood not the voice which they heard. And it was not a harsh voice, neither was it a loud voice. Nevertheless, and notwithstanding it being a small voice, it did pierce them that did hear to the center, insomuch that there was no part of their frame that it did not cause to quake. Yea, it did pierce them to the very soul, and did cause their hearts to burn. So they hear this voice. They're not understanding it. By the way, they're marveling at all the changes and the signs of the death of the Savior, because the prophets had told them what signs to expect, specifically here in America. Several cities were sunk that were ridiculously wicked cities. Um, other sort of trials had happened, and the Lord spared a number of people though, and so continuing on though, so they're marveling, and then they're gathered together by where the temple is, and they're hearing this voice. And it came to pass that they heard the voice, and they understood it not. And again they heard it the third time. They did hear the voice, and they did open their ears to hear it. So 3 times they had to hear it. And their eyes were towards the sound thereof, and they did look steadfastly towards heaven from whence the sound came. And behold, the third time they did understand the voice which they heard, and it said unto them, Behold, my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased, in whom I have glorified my name, hear ye him. And it came to pass, as they understood, they cast their eyes up again towards heaven, and behold, they saw a man descending out of heaven, and he was clothed in a white robe, and he came down and stood in the midst of them. And the eyes of the whole multitude were turned upon him, and they durst not open their mouths, even one to another, and wist not what it meant, for they thought it was an angel that had appeared unto them. And it came to pass that he stretched forth his hand and spake unto the people, saying, Behold, I am Jesus Christ, whom the prophets testified shall come into the world. And behold, I am the light and the life of the world, and I have drunk out of that bitter cup which the Father hath given me, and have glorified the Father in taking upon me the sins of the world, in which I have suffered the will of the Father in all things from the beginning. And the story goes on and on. Now there's the Book of Mormon. Prior to here is the story of the people that separated from Jerusalem, has prophecies, has what have you, some quotes from Isaiah. Very very important stuff quoted from Isaiah. And then it goes on for several chapters with Jesus' visit post-resurrection, and then the results. So anyhow, the stories of Jesus, highly recommend it. It's obviously true when you pay enough attention to it. But all right, I'm going to play this one more time.